I'm Bert Sadtler. Welcome to Boxwood Strategies. This video will cover 5 elements of business growth and acquiring great talent. The first element is foundation and philosophy. Is your business's philosophy focused more on making money, as most publicly traded companies are? Or is your business focused more on making a difference? It doesn't mean one is without the other, but this is an important determination, as the people who will be best serving your organization need to be aligned more with one of those philosophies or the other. With respect to alignment, do the people in your organization have a clear understanding of their respective duties and responsibilities as it relates to the growth and the focus and the expansion of your organization? Is there existing a structure that allows individuals to do well and allows the organization to grow? The second element is expanding the circle of power, or delegating responsibility. Back in the beginning, when that business was just a seed in the dirt and it grew out of the dirt to become something of substance, those who started it could simply manage the smaller organization by themselves. With that growth comes the impossible challenge of being able to continue to manage it, and the absolute requirement to delegate and expand the circle of power. This is a critical moment for most companies who either get to grow or remain stifled. Element 2, can the business delegate responsibility, expand the circle, and empower additional people for the growth and the continued service of that organization? At the same time, can the leadership look inwardly and continue to assess and evaluate where improvements and changes are necessary? Element 3, defining success, measuring success, and rewarding for success. It surprises me as I get to know so many businesses how this area remains a stumbling block today. I ask folks, how are you getting paid? How are you getting rewarded? How is your success being measured? Most senior level people, junior level people, lower level people come back with a convoluted answer that essentially says, I don't know. Many of them come back and say, well, if the company does well, I get a bonus. And in reality, if you think about it, how many people in any one organization really impact the EBITDA or profitability? 1%, 2%? That leaves 98 or 99% of the company who doesn't have an impact on profitability and therefore gets measured by it and therefore gets paid by it. Giant waste of money. Measuring success is critical in business today. It's critical in an employee putting out their optimal performance and being rewarded clearly for it. It's critical in employment engagement. It's critical in employee retention. It's critical in the competitive advantage for any business to be able to outperform its competitors. And in my opinion, it's a glowing area where attention is not being given today, and huge upside is available to do that. To quickly review, we've covered 3 elements as this topic relates to recruiting and haven't said one word about hiring, acquiring any talent. And the reason for that is best business practices, business growth is really about the enterprise. Is the organization in a position to have good leadership, to be delegating power, to have the structure in place, to have alignment, to have a compensation model that measures for success, rewards success, takes care of people, and therefore the organization is in a position to attract the right talent. Now let's talk about elements 4 and 5, which have to do with acquiring the right people. It's my experience that today's hiring world is broken. Employers are very frustrated when they attempt to find the right talent, and candidates are just as frustrated with their experiences interfacing with employers trying to hire them. In simple terms, we are at a place where change is necessary. Business is constantly changing, and yet much of today's hiring and recruiting practices have remained unchanged. Well, maybe not unchanged, but certainly with so much clutter, with the ability to think about hiring someone on a cell phone or a mobile device or through a technical tool or all sorts of non-human interfacing and unproductive tools, it is deafening what the options are, and yet not enough time is really being paid attention to the matter at hand. What is the business problem that needs to be solved, and what problem can be solved by bringing in the right talent? Element 4, defining, declaring the business problem that your company has and would be solved by bringing in the right talent. I have had employers say to me, my business problem is I need someone. I'll know it when I see it. These are the kind of issues that cause candidates to scratch their heads and say, we're wasting each other's time. These are the kind of problems that cause employers to feel like they're not ending up getting what they want. Or a hire is made quickly and it becomes a failed hire almost immediately. There's a process here. There are steps here. And the first one and the most important element is take the time. The organization, the company needs to take the time to really think through what is the business problem that we have, that we critically need solved. Let's define it, let's understand it, let's declare it, and from that point, let's go look for the kind of people who can help us solve it. Many, many times I hear businesses talking about, I know this or that person, let's see if they're interested, without ever first determining what is it we need them to come do. And in many cases, those efforts end up in a failure and disappointment on both sides. And as everyone knows, the cost of a failed hire is extremely high. Last element, element number 5, putting together a best practice, structured, multifaceted recruitment campaign. Remember, the most complicated part of any business are the people who work there or the people you want to acquire. With that said, the psychology of the human being makes this an extremely complex and critical aspect of bringing in any of the right people. And being able to attract them and communicate with them and establish a foundation of transparency and trust, all for the purpose of bringing in someone who's ready to fit your organization and ready to help you solve your problem, requires a best practice approach and a process-driven approach. Too many times I see folks getting hired today and starting tomorrow, and by the short time after that, it has been a failure because the structure and the process were not considered. Too many times I see the beginning of a recruitment go well and the middle go well and the end is ignored and the follow-through is also ignored. The onboarding, just as important, it's a failed hire. A great process has got to have all the steps and all the follow-through for the purpose of the person coming in being on a path of success. Thank you. For more information about Boxwood strategies and Boxwood search, please contact us at boxwoodsearch.com.